programs. Welcome back to ArcNeo Reviews, where today we're going to do something quick and fun. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the Amazon exclusive Transformers Heroes and Villains 2-pack of Starscream and Bumblebee. These are definitely both kids grade figures. I am contractually obligated to buy Starscream when I see Starscream, which means we're going to get Bumblebee out of the way first, just because he is definitely the weaker half of this set. For one, I will point out that he does not want to fit together very well. I don't know why. No, that didn't break. There's just pieces that, snap past each other sometimes. When I first got this thing and transformed it the first time, it held together very well. But now I have to hold it together instead, otherwise, because sometimes these two pieces will just completely detach from each other. I don't know why it's being like that. Otherwise, though, I won't lie. I like this car mode for Bumblebee, like this aggressively, stupidly long, front end. The car looks pretty neat. I definitely wish it had a little more paint, mainly on the back. The front, they did actually bother to pick out the lights and the grille and tampo the Autobot insignia. Did the lines, It's not a terrible thing. I have definitely seen worse, kid-grade Bumblebees. He does roll fairly well. Granted, he had, 0 ground clearance, which might just be, because of his parts not wanting to line up quite completely. Maybe somehow I missed a step in the 3 whole steps for the obvious obvious guy under a car transformation here. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and transform him. Start by letting these two pieces finally detach themselves, as they've been trying to this whole time. And fold them out all the way like that. Flip them up, fold down the feet, separate the legs, fold down the chest, and get the arms in place, which sometimes will fight you a little bit. And there you go. There you've got your Bumblebee. And, aside from the arm kibble, this is not a half-bad looking Bumblebee. I'll give him that. This is pretty halfway decent head sculpt, actually. Again, could use a little more paint, but they did at least silver the face and pick out the eyes. He's, relatively clean, technically. Yeah, it'd be nice if, the sleeves here would fold up. This is coming from someone who likes, classics Voyager Optimus, who had big, sleeve kibble. This is a bit much. He does at least have elbows in there, though. Arms rotate all the way around, move out. The head is on a ball joint, so get a good range there. No knees, sadly, but he can kick forward, kick back a little bit, get the arm kibble out of the way. He can do the splits. You do technically have some foot bend there because of transformation, though it only works one way. I mean, for a kid-grade Bumblebee, I have definitely seen worse. I've seen better as well, yes, but he's not the worst thing. But obviously, we're not here for that. We're here for Starscream. We live for Starscream, the true leader of the Decepticons. I'll shut up now. Yes, this Starscream figure I actually think is pretty neat. He, again, is not going to be crazy detailed or complicated. He is a kid's figure. But darn it, he's actually a pretty good kid's figure. Jet mode is shockingly sleek, actually. The hands stick out a little bit in the back here. You can tell where the feet are when you look at certain angles, but that's that is still a very, very whooshable jet if I've ever seen one. A lot of paintwork actually on him. You know, they bothered picking these little like air intakes out. He's got kind of the same black, you know, extras going on that the Gamer Edition Starscream had. I do have that figure, by the way. I'm trying to get it looked at too, but believe it or not, the Bumblebee is what's holding me up on that one. That Bumblebee, I have the hardest time remembering how he works as soon as the camera turns on. But Starscream, you know, again, it's a guy under a plane, but it's a pretty good guy under a plane. And yes, you can fold up the landing gear as well. So, to get this guy into robot mode, actually go ahead and fold the landing gear forward, and then push the nose of the jet up inside the hollow part there. Then finish pulling this down, and there's a little clip right there that'll kind of hook over the lip of this. So you actually get a nice satisfying thunk when it plugs in. Go ahead and pull out the null rays. Now, if you want, you can, instead of putting the null rays on the wings for jet mode, just leave them here in the shoulders. And if you leave them in the shoulders, you can fully transform this guy by just turning the null rays around instead of actually having to remove them. So, points where it's due. For the people who don't like having to always take off the null rays and move them, you can do this, transform this guy completely without actually removing the null rays if you leave them in the shoulder. But come down here, fold down flat the fins, fold out the feet, which, you know what? Props. They actually like they're molded in such a way that they fill in the gaps so you don't have a whole bunch of, you know, ugly looking hollow looking at you when he transforms. Come back here, unpeg the wings from the back of the legs, go ahead and untab the wings from the back of the forearms, go ahead and bring up the shoulders, they'll lock in, leave him T-posing to assert dominance over Megatron. You got a little tab right here that'll slide in up there, hold the wings in place. I like to knock the wings back just a little bit. Then, actually a soft ratchet on the shoulders for the downward. Split the legs. And put the null rays back in. If you don't knock him over, there you've got the Starscream, the Amazon exclusive Starscream. And this is actually, like, again, I know this is a kid's figure, but this is probably the single best Starscream kids figure I have ever seen. The sculpt on his face and everything is fantastic. When you spin the head around, you're like, yeah, it's hollow, but they waffled it just enough to, like, kind of keep it hidden. Because especially with how little you see, you don't notice it that much. Because literally, I've got some Starscreams, you turn them around, and it's just void. So even just this bit of waffling, I appreciate. Because it does look better than others. Tons of sculpted detail. Like, the sculpting on this guy is nuts for what he is. As you saw, the head rotates. Basically the same articulation as Bumblebee, just a little bit tighter joints. This shoulder in particular, that ratchet is very tight on this side. Arm bends a little bit past 90 degrees, which is nice. Soft ratchet in the thighs so he can kick forward. He can go back. Move the arms out. He can do the splits. Again, more soft ratchets. Really wish they could have put a knee joint in there. It's even sculpted in such a way it looks like he's got a knee joint. But he clearly doesn't when you look on the inside. But again, you also still have that, you know, ankles forward if you need. Obviously, if you want, you can take the null rays off him his hands. There's no point in showing you that. It should be kind of obvious. Go across the room and retrieve the Bumblebee I threw for dramatic effect. All right, get the B-boy back in here. But yeah, overall, while I will say, and no shock as an Amazon exclusive set, 30-ish bucks for these two guys is definitely a bit much for what they are. They are decently sized, actually. They are, roughly, like, they're old Voyager size. They're not just, Voyager. They're old Voyager size. They are pretty good. Like, Starscream in particular is, like, decently heavy, even. So, they are probably the best kid-grade Transformers I've seen in a long time. The Bumblebee, again, the kibble and stuff's kind of weak. I don't know why mine doesn't like to hold together. I don't know if that's like an all of them thing or just I got the lemon bee of the Bumblebees. I don't know. I am so happy with the Starscream, though, that it makes up for it. I did actually manage to get this while it was doing like a random sale. I would recommend, if you want to get this for the Starscream, if Amazon drops the price on this to around like 15, 17 bucks, somewhere around there, it is worth getting for the Starscream. The Bumblebee I'm going to let sit around and hide somewhere, especially if I can figure out, like, I still want to see if I can fix him so he holds together better. And then he'll be like, one of those really good figures to keep around as like fodder, because even for like as panel-y as he is, like, he's got some good solid plastic to him. Again, he's decently hefty, so he'll be a good sacrificial lamb to keep around when if there's kids around. But this Starscream, man, like, I know it's a kid's grade figure. I've got multiple like amazing Voyager figures that just came out. I'm gonna be doing videos on those soon. But you know what? This one's still really, really cool. And I want to give him the props he deserves, because this is still another really cool Starscream. So, all that said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.